loft, LOFTS. It's undergone adaptive reuse. In other words, its function and shape may have changed. Today, it's residential and commercial. A 2-bedroom unit in that building rents for a mere pittance, $4,000 a month. But the building has an exercise facility, jazz club, artist studio, 2 great restaurants, and more. On your left, the construction site over there. We're putting up 2 residential apartment buildings. One will be 72 stories high, 635 units. The other's a shorty, 50 units high. This little strip of water here is called the Ogden Slip. It's named for the first mayor of Chicago. He came from upstate New York, Poughkeepsie. In 1815, he came here for one reason, to make money. That's one of the reputations of Chicago. If you can't make money here, you may as well live in El Paso, for crying out loud. He was one of the founders of our First National Bank, founder of the Union Pacific Railroad. William Butler Ogden was so busy making money, he didn't get married until he was 70 years old. He married a lady 38 years younger than he was. Mayor Ogden passed away 3 years after saying, "I do." Some critics have said it must have been a hell of a 3 years. Okay. This vessel, by the way, is named Fort Dearborn. It's named for a military fort built here in 1803, named for President Thomas Jefferson's Secretary of War, Henry Dearborn. It was burned down in the Second War of Independence, the War of 1812. Rebuilt, crumbled in the 1850s, never to rise again, until the folks that owned the Chicago lines put the name Fort Dearborn on this boat. Okay, we're just waiting to get clearance from the conning tower, tall building on your right, and we'll be off on our cruise. How many people are here for Lollapalooza? Okay, great. Starts tomorrow. One of the great music festivals. We have them here all the time. If any of you happen to see my granddaughter, say hello. Tell her it will be nice to call her granddad once in a while. And talk. I don't mean text. I mean actually talk. Okay.
The picture is on.
We've got a great group of people on board. We've got folks up here from Veracruz in Mexico. You can tell how they feel about the sun. They've got their own blankets. We've got folks here from Dhaka in Bangladesh. Glad to have you. We've got folks here from northern India. We've got folks here from Farmington, Connecticut. Nutmeggers, all of them.
আমরা মনে হয় আপনারা শুনতে পেয়েছেন বাংলাদেশের কথা, যেহেতু আমরা এসেছি আমাদেরকে জিজ্ঞেস করছিল আমরা বাংলাদেশ থেকে এসেছি, যেহেতু শিকাগো শহরের প্রথম যে টল বিল্ডিংটা করা হয়েছিল এটা আমাদের বাংলাদেশ।
We're going to have a lot of fun. But just remember, stay hydrated. It's pretty warm out there.
But they has to
We
pay
have a little
$5
friend over
extra
here. He's
for
wearing a Southside Chicago White
I'm gonna
Sox
ask
shirt.
them.
They're only going to lose
Later.
125 games this year. Set the all-time record. Young man, you've got a backbone to wear a shirt like that. Okay, great. Okay, first building I'd like to bring to your attention. Hey, Rancho Cucamonga. It's a tough one to remember. Okay. Over here on your left, this is a 66-story high building. It's called Lake Point Tower. It's condominiums and rental apartments. Built in 1967 by 2 architects named Schipperite and Heydrich. They were students of a very famous German-born architect, Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. I won't mention Schipperite and Heydrich again, but I will mention Ludwig Mies van der Rohe again. The next time any of you are thinking of flying to Alaska, we have a flight attendant with us from Alaska Airlines. Give him the business. Okay. built in 1966. Anodized dark steel, narrow dark tinted windows, no external decoration. Every unit in that building has a view of the Chicago River or of Lake Michigan. Over the years, some very famous people have lived in Lake Point Tower. A woman with the last name of Winfrey lived there for about 14 months. Oprah moved out. She lives wherever she wants to live, currently somewhere in Southern California. But we still see her main squeeze, Stedman Graham, wandering around that building. Sometimes he appears to be in a daze. David Axelrod, the political consultant, lived in that building. Alice Cooper, the musician, Goldie Hawn and Kirk Russell lived there for about 9 months when they were working in Chicago. 2 Chicago Cup baseball players had lived in that building. An outfielder named Sammy Sosa. He had 2 units. One we assume he slept in, one he kept his baseball bats in, which took on magical properties. He may have altered them illegally. So he was kicked out, went back to the Dominican Republic where he's counting his USA dollars. It's a very good exchange rate. The other Hall of Fame second baseman, Ryan Sandberg. Ozzie Guillen, a native of Venezuela, manager of the 2005 World Champion Chicago White Sox, lived in that building. And I could go on and on. Water temperature today is about 70 degrees. Out to your far left, you'll notice some concrete walls and an opening. That is a lock, L-O-C-K. It allows boats to go out into Lake Michigan, come in from Lake Michigan. This will be on your test later, so pay attention. There are 5 Great Lakes. Only one of the 5, 100% inside Estados Unidos. That's Lake Michigan. All the rest we share with our neighbor to the north, the great country of Canada. Any Canadians with us today? Okay. We're now going west up the main branch of the river. We're going underneath a bridge that has a very long name. This is the Lakeshore Drive, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Jean-Baptiste Poindexter Bridge. If you can remember all that, I will sign your application for membership in Mensa. FDR dedicated this bridge in 1937. He gave a very famous speech here called Quarantine the Aggressors. His speech led to a program called Lend-Lease, by which the United States provided ships and munitions to Great Britain and then parts of her empire. Europe and the world went to war September 1, 1939. The United States, 7 December 1941. Okay, I'm going to work your left-hand side first, right-hand side on the return. The first building I'd like to bring to your attention, these 3 towers, that is called the St. Regis, R-E-G-I-S. It's a hotel and condominium. The architect of that building, 5 foot 4 inch tall, Gene Gang, G-A-N-G. That is the tallest structure in the world, 101 stories high, designed by an architect who happens to be a woman, a graduate of my university, the University of Illinois. If you look at the tallest tower, about 14 stories down from the top, there is an open floor. That's intentional, folks. You're in Chicago. This is the Windy City. When the winds blow, all of our tall buildings shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bot. They vibrate just a bit. So someone who lives or works in that building, they don't want to have to take Dramamine all day long. So architects have come up with an open floor. It sucks in the breezes. You don't feel the building vibrate at all. Condominiums in that building on a low floor with not much of a level start at $800,000. If you get closer to the top, you get a better view. It's a little more expensive. 7,000 square foot unit, $19 million. The St. Regis by Gene Gang. Coming up next on your left is a rectangular glass wall coming out to us at an angle. Clear and opaque glass. That is the Swiss Hotel in the city of Chicago. It's the only Swiss hotel currently in the United States. The architect, a man named Harry Weiss. Harry was a sailor, in addition to being an architect. And he always tried to get his clients to let him work nautical themes into the project. So it appears to be a rectangular glass wall. When we go by it, turns into a triangle, like sails on a ship. Directly behind the Swiss Hotel is a 64-story high tower with beautiful concrete floors between each level. That condominium building is called Aqua, A-Q-U-A, or water. The architect, 5'4" tall, Jeannie Gang. Then right in front of the Aqua is a rectangular building. Brown anodized steel, narrow dark tinted windows, no external decoration. That style is called International Modern. It's the basic style of tall buildings all over the world from the 1960s to the present.